What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And, of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. Now, guys, as we continue on from last week's, very quiet little week today, finally.
We're revving up to that training camp time.
Yes,
right?
And we have a few things to discuss as, of course, we get ready to, prepare ourselves for our Cowboys finally landing in Oxnard, getting ready. And guess what? This time next week, we got football going on, baby. So, with that said, of course, we have to...
Kicks off a little bit this week, actually. But yeah, next week is the hitting. This week is the preparing. So we'll prepare you guys for everything Cowboy related here for training camp and more and beyond right here in my Cowboys family. It starts tonight with the PUP list. We'll talk about that and the things, involving the contracts and all that good stuff. Obviously, torturing us this offseason. So on that note, yes, let's open it up and celebrate those here, the good stuff, the good news, and those that, rep this channel here on the nightly. Appreciate you guys. Like the man Lincoln Kane, back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys, not just the top of the board when it comes to all these leaderboards, the sponsor of the week. That's the cream of the crop. Mr. Lincoln Kane earned himself a bonus raffle entry, but he's done it for 2 weeks in a row because he's also done it in the Cash App 2 weeks in a row. So domination for Lincoln Kane, who I must say for this week, this 2 weeks, this was like last week we had one stream. This week we have a couple more obviously for training camp. But he is currently leading it right now over everybody in first place for a three-peat, possibly. Mark Hopesepian, you see him, he's always on these boards, always repping that star all the way from Hawaii with 86 points. That's a Luke Schoonmaker, who we're going to talk about tonight. We're not big fans of Luke Schoonmaker. Mark Hopesepian holding it down, though, with 86 points. And then you got the gifting leaderboard, the gifting membership leaderboard. That's one of the best ways to give the love back to the channel. And those a lot of battles going on. A skeptical fan, Brandon J. and others, but the man once again, 9 out of 10 straight weeks. 9 out of 10 weeks. Jet Li, 44. You know him as Jason Renfro. Yes, he has been the champion. He took it down once again. Congrats to him. A new board though, new week. There's no leader right now on the gifting board. That's open completely. So everything else up for grabs. Appreciate everybody who takes. Everything's up for grabs, obviously, but gifting board, the stream boss, the Cash App King, and of course the sponsor of the week. All that stuff's up for grabs. We'll see what happens. Different ways to drop the love here. This is the quick commercial. The YouTube side, of course, super chats here. They have. Yes, I know that some of the After Dark family don't realize. We have super chats on this side of the board with like the thanks button, which, by the way, big shout outs to Dwayne Broussard. He just said thanks. Dropped a $2 holler for after one of our videos posted. So big congrats and big thanks out to him for his thanks. And there's ways of dropping the love that way. There's also jumping in the membership and gifting memberships. By the way, jumping in memberships, Tony Wimbish, thank you for getting back in that navy blue crew. I think, we had the Lunatic last time. We already shouted him out back in this star level. So thank you guys on that side of things. But then there's also a bunch of ways to affect Lincoln Kane 2 weeks in a row to affect the Cash App crown, so to speak. And how is that maybe done? Our After Dark family, they use these other ways to drop the love, and that's why you're seeing the combo wins when they win the sponsor of the week. They usually win in it to the Cash App as well. So how do they get into that?
Well, of course, you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and of course, last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat does.
Yeah. So appreciate everybody who's dropped the love through that, which is mainly the app. You guys drop it through here. Of course, we have champions that have pulled it out here. But right now, it's been mainly the After Dark off-season specials there. And let me give some shout-outs to the people that dropped the love there, like Arkansas, Multi-Super Caleb, Meet the Mets, Marissa Sparkle, McLovin, who's in the house, RL, KL. We got also, of course, the man Sco971, and Dave Brown, Dave B in the house and the place to be. So thank you guys for dropping a love on the After Dark side through these different ways you see on your screen right there. Now, there's other ways we can affect, where there's the membership side, right? You got the navy blue silver, and then the star and over everything levels. And we have a monthly membership raffle for this here, jersey raffle. Sewn and stitched jersey, pretty much, your choice of whatever we have. It's about 20, 30 different choices. Home and away, color rush, throwbacks, depends, different styles of the eras of the players. But new and old, you see the choices, a lot of choices there. We even got Tyler Guyton, number 60 available. We're going to talk about him, though. You may want to hold off on that jersey. But either way, once a month, lucky winner in the star and over everything level of our membership levels will be entered. This over everything gets 2 entries. That's Seabass. Yes, we'll talk about it in a minute. And the star level gets 1 entry. And then the weekly winners, they also get bonus entries, and that would be Lincoln Kane, for example, who already has, I think, 2 for this month. Mm-hmm. So he's got himself the same as over everything, just earning him by winning. He might have 3 by the end of this week. So we'll see what happens. But hey, this is the fairest way of doing it, and we appreciate everybody who's in all these levels for our monthly jersey raffle. Now, speaking of that top shelf membership, baby, let's shout out those people that rep the cream of the crop of our membership board, which would be the star and over everything.
Of course, an extra special shout out to Skeptical Fan, Jet Lee 44, Lincoln Kane, Mr. LC, Marissa Sparkle, The Lunatic, and over everything, Seabass.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate you guys. And all the levels. Navy Blue and that Silver, too, as well. Now, baby, it's time to do the shout-outs, and let's get a rolling on some Cowboy news, info, and updates. Who's in the house tonight? Let's do some shout-outs.
We have Leaside Harold. Hello and hi. We don't really care what the Texans have been doing, twiddling their thumbs.
I didn't actually report. I have that on file today to talk about it. But yeah, he's a guy I was actually looking at, as a possibility for the Cowboys before we got Zeke. But yeah, that's not a bad pickup, I will say, Eastside. Not a bad pickup.
So, McLovin, hello and hi.
Here with us, yes.
And only the...
No, it's an upper level MCF quality here.
Yes.
This is a little higher quality than the ones that you're used to. They got the MCF, logo on them.
The official seal of approval.
Yes.
So, the quality control here is...
Top shelf.
Anyway, jokes aside, what's up, Raul? Hello and hi. Eric Wallace, much love to you. MCF After Dark 2.
Maybe a live stream tonight. Maybe a live stream over there. You got to subscribe and put the notification bell on.
Asmodeus, what's up? Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
We have, of course, Jet Lee 44. Much love to you.
Mr. Jason Renfro.
Double R, hello and hi. Thanks for rolling with us. So, and Jet Li, no. So, again, the raffle works the same way as it always does. There's just one winner a month. It's just, a few extra chances to, get some extra entries by winning the sponsor of the week.
Yeah, it's the sponsor of the week, which is the one that we have to count as the entry, so to speak, there. So that's kind of the hard one to get. That's the one that's really the crown jewel. So that is the one that gets a bit of more of a bonus there. And that, right now it's being run by the After Dark session. But I have a feeling that once the football season starts, you'll start seeing a lot more of the MCF family. Yeah, football Cowboy representation here. But right now, they're running it right now over there. Got to be fair. And, we might have to change the rules a little bit. Maybe I'll separate both sides for the season. We'll see what happens. We'll have 2 different boards. One for the After Dark, which won't be shown here. And, of course, our family. Because I think there'll be a lot more people here in the off season. Than the off season we've had. It's been such a slow one that it's been really, limited when it comes to our streams and people's even interest out there, right? So when we get to the regular season, training camp, regular season, we'll start kind of going more with the MCF representation here. And yes, those weekly winners here, the sponsor of the week, will be the one that gets the entry, in the bonus entry. So we'll work on that as the regular season, as we get closer to the regular season. Let's put it that way. So I know I saw also After Dark Part 1 is also in the house. So make sure you guys subscribe to that channel and hit the notification bell if you stay up after our live streams, our late live streams here. You go to the late show over there for some extra special non-football, non-cowboy fun, but it's still fun nonetheless. Anyways, any other names maybe before we get rolling?
Darren Posey, what's up? Much love to you. Thanks for being here.
Jump back in that navy blue crew.
And yes, you said Harold's like the herpes of the football world. It might go away for a little while, but it seems to always be there.
Always popping back up. He should listen. If anybody knows the East Side. Anyways, let's get it rolling here, guys. And, we'll fly through this stuff and, get you back to your day. But, of course, if you want us to shout you out, you want to get on the board, there's different ways of making sure we get your message or your thoughts read. Dropping the love in the super chat, right? That's one of the ways, the cash apps. That's the way of doing that. Anyways, let's kick this thing off because we're almost at training camp and I cannot wait. This is where the excitement rises and we get to figure out some battles for positions. We'll be talking about that probably the next live stream because it still will be, even if it's Wednesday or Thursday, the Cowboys aren't doing anything until really next week when it comes to hitting. We'll be on the field doing some walkthroughs and some stretches. That's not going to be much of to discuss. Let's put it that way. It's going to be who's injured. You know what I'm saying? Coming into this camp, and then it's going to be let's do some position battle stuff. So this week we're going to do that position battle thing, but today we're going to do the PUP list.
And Jet Li 44 right now, no, the gifted membership winner doesn't.
Does not get a bonus raffle entry. Just one. As you see every time we do this, the raffles, you always see the asterisks that people win. It's only like 2 or 3 names.
During the regular season, maybe we will.
No, during the regular season we're going to split it up, and it'll be a situation will be. When it's in the off season, it's going to be both channels combined. When it's the regular season, it will be.
I don't think that's what he's asking. He's saying how the sponsor of the week gets.
Oh yeah, no. For the regular season, it's going to stay the same. Only the sponsor of the week will get that.
Okay.
Yeah, not the membership winner, nothing like that. It's just going to be. I'm just splitting up. When I'm saying I'm splitting up, the after dark people that drop and the MCF family here that drops for this stream will be 2 different leaderboards, but it's still going to be only the sponsor of the week. That way, the Cash App doesn't get the bonus, the Stream Boss don't get the bonus, and neither does the Gifting Champion. But you do get on that board, and you do get shout-outs for sure every single day and night here at MCF. So, and it'll be much more as we get into the season. So, anyways, as we continue this here, as I'm focusing, this is the last weekend upcoming here without NFL or college football teams on the field. So the offseason is officially ending. That's kind of like our kickoff here. We made it. So just going through some other things. Of course, we know what happened in this offseason when it comes to the unfortunate loss of a rookie 4th-round cornerback, Kyrie Jackson from the Vikings. The Vikings are going to cover a significant portion of the expenses for Kyrie Jackson's funeral. And again, it's going to be on Friday. That's what it's scheduled for. A lot of people will be there, whether it's Adolfo Mensah, Kevin O'Connell, coach, Brian Flores, Matt Daniels, Dorante Jones will be among the contingent attending his funeral. Vikings also are going to pay out the remainder of his signing bonus to his estate. So it's a nice thing they're doing there, a great thing they're doing there. Coaches and staff will wear the KJ pins, and no player on the team will wear number 31 this year. So they're kind of
honestly, I think that is a really smart move by the organization to honor him. And it's actually a pretty classy move.
Yeah, I agree.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I agree. They're a good job by the Vikings. You're talking about the Packers. We're going to talk about them twice. The Packers, they have their Pro Bowl nose tackle, Kenny Clark. A guy that kind of we would wish we could have. They've agreed to terms on another massive contract extension to keep him in Green Bay for the next 3-year extension to this. So it's 4 years. 3-year deal, $64 million extension, $29 million in 2024. Cowboys would never pay a nose tackle that much money. No. But you're seeing guys like Calais Campbell, who for bottom rate money, the Cowboys didn't even want to play kind of interior outside kind of player there. So, and forget about it. We wouldn't want to pay even $1.4 million for Jonathan Hankins. We let him go to Seattle for freaking $100,000 more. Jet Li with the $2 kickoff for the stream tonight. Much love to A.K. Mr. Jason Renfro. Jet Li 44 with a $2 drop. What did the man say?
More in the Cash App. So go Cowboys and get that 6.
Yeah, let me shout him out.
Thank you so much, Jet Li 44.
Because he did drop another $1.20 holler in the Cash App.
Woo.
So big shout out to Jason Renfro. Oh, I'm sorry. Jet Li 44. It's hard to get over that.
It's going to take some time.
Yeah, I know. When I'm just flowing and just not it's like, okay, it's the old name. But yeah, it's Jet Li 44, who he's better known as now. Appreciate you, brother. And he's still on this board and moving up it. So, we'll see how that goes. Appreciate the man. And, go Cowboys. Got to get that 6 and beyond.
Ooh.
And beyond. You know it. So, big shout-out to him. Now, I want to go back to Kenny Clark real quick. And the Packers got a huge deal. Cowboys ain't never pay a nose tackle that much money. It's never going to happen. So, if we ever wanted that in this current Cowboy climate, they ain't going to ever see that. Now, the Buccaneers, Dolphins player Shaquille Barrett, 2-time Pro Bowl linebacker who just went to the Dolphins this offseason, informed the Dolphins he wants to spend more time with his family, and he's going to be retiring from the NFL.
Oh wow!
Which officially, actually, that was like a day ago when this came out. Today it was official. He did retire officially from the NFL. He was also a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Played 4 seasons with Denver, and then 5 with the Buccaneers. So Shaquille Barrett, retiring a 2-time Super Bowl champion, spending more time with his family. Good for him in that sense. If he's happy about going that route. Right?
Hey, you can't ask for a better way to end things, I guess. All things considered, outside of winning a Super Bowl, which is obviously very, very hard to do.
Well, he's won 2 of them. Yeah.
No, I mean retiring off the heels of his. That's what I'm saying. Outside of that, you can't ask for better. But yeah, that's an extremely impressive career. Wishing him the best in his retirement, and hopefully, like you said, he can spend some time with the family,
right?
And some time off the football field.
Yeah, which is, I'm not gonna say unlike Randall Cobb, but he's obviously in the broadcast booth right now. But he's willing to come back to the team at the right situation. So different situations there. By the way, former Cowboy. Former Dolphin. Now he's still a free agent, and he's listed as a center. Connor Williams. Remember him? He's out there. Yeah, he has started 77 NFL games. He's been cleared to play now after his injury. That's one of the main reasons why he has not been looked at by anybody, really. It's being looked at tomorrow, Tuesday. He has a scheduled visit with the Seattle Seahawks. So they got Jonathan Hankins. They're trying to go for another guy in the trenches there, Connor Williams on the other side of the ball. So we'll see what happens there with that. By the way, I wanted to throw that out, that Fox Sports have released their top 10 rosters in the NFL. Top 10 roster, the build, the way the team is built, offense, defense, special teams, the names, right, the abilities they have, and they rated the Browns 10th, and then the Cowboys 9th. So we'll be playing the Browns that Week 1 game. It'll be the 9 and 10 according to Fox Sports. But they got the Browns 10th. They got the Cowboys 9th. They got the Jets at 8. The Dolphins at 7. The Ravens at 6 with the Texans at 5. The Detroit Lions at 4. Chiefs at 3. Eagles at 2. Niners at 1. So when you look at it like this, I mean, listen, you got the Niners, who's rated as the number 1 roster all around. You got the Eagles at number 2, rated as the second best all-around roster. These are the teams in the NFC. And, of course, NFC East. The Chiefs are 3rd with the best all-around roster, AFC representatives, Super Bowl champions, 3 out of 4 years. And then the Lions are 4. Another NFC team. So these teams, you can see they improved their rosters this offseason. They lost some guys. They made moves to replace these guys. Cowboys, I don't even know how we were hanging on at 9. We got enough guys left on this team that we didn't lose, that are kind of our pillars of the team, that still push us up to 9. So, you look at the Texans, there's Eastside Harold jerking off over there. He's really happy. But here in the Texans, this is the 5th best roster, but they made moves to improve their team. The Ravens, the 6th, the Dolphins, the 7th, the Jets, the 8th, and then our Cowboys and the Browns at 9 and 10. So we'll see what happens on that side of things. But, man, it just seems like imagine if the Cowboys would have, and again, this is some silly list, right? But let's say the Cowboys would have made 2 moves, 3 moves. That's the literal difference maker right there. And I'm not talking about the extension for CD or Dak or Micah. I'm talking about you had $20, $30 million open to use easily or more. Cowboys chose to use none of it. Let's be real. Eric Kendricks is our best pickup. An older linebacker that's there only because of Mike Zimmer. So, yeah, I mean, to me, if the Cowboys had made just 2 or 3 moves, we'd be in the top. We'd be right there with the Eagles and the Niners on this top 10 list. And again, it's just a silly top 10 roster list, but it's important to know that we didn't make it. It just shows these other teams in the NFC, they made moves to stay where they're at or get better. We went backwards, unfortunately.
Exactly. So, again, no one's saying that we aren't a top-tier competitive team, but you can clearly see where we have taken a step back and other teams have taken a step forward, which is the disappointing part.
Yeah, just staying ahead of I know you can't. The Niners, they somehow stayed, lost some guys and kept some guys, and the Eagles lost some guys, kept some guys, but they also made moves to replace the guys they lost, and the Cowboys slept through that time of things, and is still sleeping through it as of right now.
Right.
So, yeah, and they came and signed. They don't even have the nuts to sign their own guys, which is a problem on top of itself, in my opinion. So, anyways, it's just that there's that list real quick. I just want to throw that out there. Now, enough with the lists. Let's go with some facts. And this involves, we're going to kind of get into Cowboy stuff, even though it's actually still kind of free agent stuff here. And we are going to talk about another possible free agent for the Cowboys, a couple of them. But we're just quickly touching on that. But before we get there, let's talk about Dak Prescott. Why?
Is he doing more dances at weddings and stuff that we need to know about?
No. That offseason's over. Thank goodness. He's still at the retreat. He's out there. He's looking like he's freaking chiseled, right? So he's looking good out there doing and on his retreat. I'm sure we'll have some videos soon on that as soon as that leaks out. But, he's connecting and bonding with his receivers and his skill players out there. Going to be training camp here tomorrow. They're literally getting into a plane in Dallas. I'm sure Dak's probably already flying out on his own. But they're getting in a plane tomorrow if the team is flying out to Oxnard to check into the hotel. Dak Prescott still got that contract situation hanging over this team. And the reason I'm mentioning it's not really a Cowboy news, but it is definitely a Dak situation, is because another quarterback's going to sign for huge money. And that's Jordan Love. The Packers GM, Brian Gutekunst, which is a good friend, I think he's actually the guy who basically chased out Mike McCarthy. But Gutekunst spoke to reporters today, and he said he's optimistic about a deal getting done for Jordan Love. And that one could be done in the next couple of days. Until that deal is done for Jordan Love, he will not practice. And that's what his agents told the GM for the Packers. Now, just to be clear, though, I want to make sure this is kind of important. It is not a holdout by Jordan Love, all right? And so Jordan Love is not holding out. He's in the building. He's participating in the in-house meetings.
Yeah.
He's not going to take the field until both sides can finalize a contract extension, which they're about to do.
Which, think
Makes
of it
sense,
as
right?
what we kind of were hoping that CeeDee Lamb would end up doing, or in a similar situation, right? Like, okay, maybe you're not actively participating in some of the activities yet, but you're in the building, your presence is there, and it's clear that we're working something out. Now, of course, that's obviously not what seems to be happening yet with CeeDee, but I'm just saying, like, the Jordan Love thing, though, well...
No, he said, I'm not, he's there, but he's not gonna, he's not going to practice on the field.
Revelation journalist said it. He's like, J Love is holding in.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's all holding. So, again, I think that's a smart move for someone who's not getting paid yet. So, Jordan Love, again, the word is, and it says, what's the money, going to be for this? What's the numbers for his contract? Supposedly going to be a historic contract extension worth about $280 million over 5 years. I don't know the math, if you could do the 280 divided by 5, but that is going to be the new mark there. I don't know if it's going to be over 55. I don't think it's over 55, but damn, it's close.
56, yeah.
Wow. So that could then set the new... Obviously, Dak's going to ask to get over 56. Why does this keep going up? Why is he not signing an extension? Now, we don't know why. Maybe he's not going to come back to the Cowboys. Maybe the Joneses want to let him go. But it's the clown show. They could have got this done. If they sign Dak, I might be upset. Because at this point, they hurt the team by not signing Dak earlier. I mean, we could have been at 55 easy, 56. Now it's pushing to 57. Dak's not going to take 56 or 55 or 50. He's not now.
And even if we're talking some of those shorter contracts that we've been hearing that, maybe both sides are more amenable to only extending him for like another 2 years instead of like some other lengthier extension situation. Even when you account for that, like the money is still going up.
Yeah, I want to.
Go ahead.
Texas Cat in the chat saying, "Well, why can we? He has enough money." That's not the way it works. It's the quarterback market. All the money's going up. These billionaires, you see, why didn't Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones make the tickets cheaper? Why do they keep raising the ticket prices?
Yeah, they're rich enough.
Yeah, they're billionaires. They're trillion. I mean, why do they keep raising the prices for a Coca-Cola to $18 for a Coke, for Pepsi,
that's
whatever
like
the
your
fuck
job
it is.
going to you and saying, hey, I know we were paying you, $30 an hour this whole time, but you made enough money, so we're not going to ever give you another raise ever again.
Yeah, or you got to take less.
And by the way, you got to take a pay cut.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's not real. The real thing is you got to look at the actual, market where the quarterback numbers are. And wherever he's a guy who's a franchise quarterback, he's going to ask for that money. That's just the way it is.
So an MB, much love to you. And yes, guys, I'm telling you, we've
been
the
there.
last time we were in AT&T Stadium, it hurt because we were there in the sense that we were there for the first time with the family.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure all we got were like, some sodas, a water, maybe one of the little popcorns.
Yeah.
That was like $60-something, $70.
Yeah.
It's Jerry and Steven are not hurting for money there. The other thing that the Cowboy Rita or whatever, that thing's like $30-something, but it does come with a cool cup.
Listen, it's insane. It's overpriced. And I understand he's going to charge a little more because it's Jerry's World and that shit. But when you say, Dak, take less, you made enough, well, I say, well, Jerry, take less first.
Yeah.
You made it. When Jerry takes less and Steven, when they take less, then Dak should take less. Then I agree with you.
So the food at AT&T Stadium is pretty good, though.
Yeah,
Give Jerry his credit there.
The food is good. It's not still. I mean, I better be getting a full course, fucking, filet mignon for the prices he's charging.
You know what tastes better than Jerry Jones AT&T Stadium hot dogs? Super Bowls. Just saying.
Yeah, but Jerry don't care.
Nothing tastes as good as a Super Bowl.
Well, for Jerry, it's football, a Super Bowl victory. But for Jerry Jones, the problem is that all he wants to do is be competitive. That makes him enough money. He's eating well. I mean, he's got the most expensive franchise in the world.
That it's not about Dak. It's not about Dak asking, but all about what the Joneses are offering. And again, as of now, the Joneses seem to be offering everybody absolutely jack shit.
Yeah, that's the point.
Again,
it's not just Dak.
It's not just Dak who's got no movement. Like you said, we've got CeeDee Lamb. No movement there. Micah Parsons, still no movement. I mean, heck, going back to our previous point, even the free agents and off-season moves, almost no movement.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I want to make sure, Revelation journalist, the excuse to be all these contracts and Dak's contract, well, that's the excuse. Other teams are making moves, right? I mean, Jalen Hurts is making more than Dak, but I'm just saying, like, why? I know right now he's not getting hit on the cap as much. Why did the Joneses make moves when we had that opportunity on Dak's contract? Now we got to pay the piper. You can move it down and extend them. Yeah. But they waited.
We are stagnant.
Yeah, and
that's the problem.
The Cowboys front office, they're greedy with the whole selling. They overprice everything over there to a point where it's nothing compared to other stadiums, and they're overpriced in other stadiums. But this is about just Dak Prescott, doing his thing and going for his market value every time. What's the guy from the Lawrence from the Jaguars, quarterback for the Jaguars.
Trevor Lawrence.
Whenever Trevor Lawrence signs for $55 million.
Sorry, you said Lawrence. I almost said Taylor.
A $55 million Trevor Lawrence. And you get now a $56 million, it looks like it's going to be a Jordan Love, who I don't think is deserving of it. But if that is true, if those numbers are true, I'm sorry. But, Dak is not going to ask for less than Jordan Love. Just saying. And I don't care if he did the same as him. He hasn't been around as long. He had one good year comparatively, and Dak has had a bunch of great years. So, again, Jordan Love, I think, has a way to go to get to that number. It might be false numbers. But if those are the real numbers, 280 for 5 years, that's $56 million a year. That's insane. The money keeps going up, and up, and the Joneses are sitting on their hands. So I guess they don't want Dak. That's what it tells me. Had the Cowboys extended Dak Prescott prior to free agency, if they end up signing Dak, we just lost a year, because if we had extended him before free agency, we would have had about $20 million. Easy. I'm saying at least we would have more than that, but at least $20 million. Derrick Henry, who Stephen A. Smith said the Cowboys missed big on him.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry and Grover Stewart, who has been one of my favorite nose tackles, stop that damn run from the Colts. Mm-hmm. Both these guys combined, the cap hits for this year is $15.4 million. So if the Cowboys extend Dak Prescott anyways, you just lost the chance to get Derrick Henry, Grover Stewart, and make your team literally a top 5 in roster, a top 5 in making that and getting that Super Bowl, a top tier running back. I'm not saying you have to Derrick Henry. I don't know if he's worth that or not, but Derrick Henry and a run stopping defensive tackle. You think that would have put the Cowboys closer to their goal of winning? Let's be real. The answer is yes. Grover Stewart is bigger than Derrick Henry, in my opinion, honestly.
Yeah, let's be real.
But that's just my
Because the
opinion.
man Jet Li 44
Ooh.
dropping another $2 holler here. Appreciate you so much, Jet Li. Do you know what he had to say?
I don't know. Hit me with it.
Them boys need to step up because my Mavs are L plus R. Now, I don't know what the L plus R means, but I'm guessing...
Is that a gamer thing?
No. Just, I don't know, left plus right? Are they...
I don't know.
Not sure, Jason, but thank you so
Give
much,
me the
Jelly44.
explanation on
Yeah,
that
let us know what you mean. But I'm guessing you mean that they are obviously, well, they're winning. They are succeeding. They are progressing. Every year we talk about the Mavs here in passing. They seem to be getting closer and closer to their goals. They, they're maximized the most out of one of their young elite talents like Luka, right? And I'm just saying, like, it's basketball
Left and
is
right,
obviously different than football, and you build teams differently, but the same concept still stands, right? You take advantage of your young talent while they're young and performing at a high level and try to do your best to get to the promised
Luka's
land.
paid for sure, but yes.
Left and right.
Yes. Luka's paid now. I know that. But, yeah, I mean, I see here MB.
Thank you, Jet. Yeah, so his Mavs are left and right. So I guess he's winning left and right.
MB, it's like, he said he would tag Jordan Love and let him do it. I agree with that. I tag him and force him to go out there and do it again. At least one more year, you know what I'm saying? And they'll pay another, what, $5 million a year? It's worth the risk of having, not paying this much and then he's a bust.
Yeah, I don't think quarterback and risk are going in the direction that people seem to think. Based on what we're seeing in the league, pretty much every single team that has a quarterback that's even halfway passable is locking them down, even for ridiculous amounts of money. So follow the trends, and it just leads you to believe that you're better off sticking with a quarterback that is even average, right? If they know your team and know the system, instead of trying to go out there and quote unquote start over or continue on that
Cowboys
quarterback
do.
search. So,
but we're going to have to pay big cap hits the next 2 years because on Dak's contract. And the third year as well, be a little bit, it'd be like $5 million or $10 million or something that last year. But the other year is going to be like $30 million a year. That's going to be impactful on trying to sign free agents. So the Cowboys just going to say we're going to take our losses and start a new strategy. Is that what the front office is doing? I don't know. But we had a chance to make another run with this team this year. Cowboys, instead of going up, went down.
Okay, so Jet Li said, that the Mavs are making moves left and right.
Yeah, they signed.
That's why the Cowboys need to step it up.
They signed Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
From the Golden State Warriors. They're making moves. They're trying to win. The Cowboys sitting on their ass. Now, let me just touch one last thing on Dak. I just told you, if we had extended Dak before free agency, could have had 2 solid players that would have made us a top 3 team, a top 5 team, easy, and put us in that Super Bowl contention. Now, because we didn't do that, now we're stuck here hoping we could get in a top 10 kind of mindset. And that's not a Super Bowl. That's going to be shitting yourself in the wild card round or the divisional round if you're lucky. So, yeah, when you look at Dak, though, and you see Jordan Love getting paid, the percentage of quarterbacks' game-winning drives where he had to put the team ahead multiple times in a game, which guys have done it the best and the most? Patrick Mahomes, 31.8%, number 1 in history.
Damn.
Number 2, Dak Prescott.
Huh.
Yeah, 30.4%. Not far behind Bobby A. I think that's Bobby A.
A lot of people get bothered when they hear how much some of Dak's stats mirror Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. The wins, the playoff success doesn't mirror it, but the regular season success is neck and neck with Patrick Mahomes. Jet Li with another 1-2, J. Lou, dollar holler. What did the man say?
Ooh, he said all Dallas teams are making moves but the Cowboys. So, yeah, again,
very upset.
Dallas has been very, very lucky with some really high-quality, top-tier performance by their sports teams, all the way from the Dallas Stars to the Texas Rangers to everything in between, except for Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's frustrating as hell. I hear you, Jet Li. I hear you. It's frustrating as hell.
Remember, if you've ever stepped foot in Dallas, if you're not from the area, the Dallas Cowboys have a chokehold on the sports market there. It is absolutely this town of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. You can't go anywhere without running into the Stars somehow. So there is a slight extra layer of embarrassment there. I'm not going to lie. Just
I
saying.
agree. And that's what's the pain here for Cowboy fans and in Dallas and outside of Dallas and all over America and on this rock we call Earth. So I'm just saying Mahomes 31.8 times. Again, game-winning drives. You got Dak Prescott 30.4. You got Bobby Hebert back in the 80s there, 28.6. Eli Manning 26.2. Jalen Hurts 25%. Warren Moon 24.3%. Steve Young 23.5%. Aaron Rodgers 15.2%. Tom Brady 12.5%. He didn't have to come back as often, I guess. Peyton Manning 10.7%. Montana 9.1%. And Elway 4.3%. You hear some of the greatest names at the bottom of the list. Not that they're bad, but they didn't have to come back as many times for their teams. Dak, Mahomes, Eli, just Warren Moon, Steve Young, they all had to come back a lot more often than Aaron Rodgers on this list as well. But he drops down basically half of what Dak has had to do in coming back in games. So just want to say Dak still has it. I just think that for some reason, whether it's Kellen Moore or Lenahan before him, I know he had a bad first quarter of the season with McCarthy's scheme, but something happens in the playoffs with this team. Not Dak, but the team is not ready. And it comes apart, whether it's better opponents and we're not ready for them, we didn't coach them the right way, or all the players crumble together at the same time on offense, defense, and special teams when we get into playoffs. To me, that's a coaching issue more than a player issue. But maybe it's still both in many ways. Now, we're talking about a little free agency stuff there, some players moving around here, here and there. We're not making any moves, but there is kind of a thought process on what if the Cowboys decide to, upgrade some of their or add another running back to the mix. League sources have kind of been dripping some information out there. The Cowboys could be interested in camp cut running backs. So running backs from other teams that get cut.
Man, we're on not even sloppy seconds. We're on sloppy thirds. But
but
I'm making a joke.
Some of these guys will be cut because they can't be afforded by teams.
Yeah.
And so they'll take less deal somewhere else. But to me, there's an easy couple of names like Khalil Herbert, who's a good one. I like Myles Gaskin. Got to watch out for the injuries. And Javonte Williams from Denver. I mean, these are the guys I think have some opportunity. If this information is real about the Cowboys looking for a little more running back help, these are three names I think are on the verge of getting cut. And I do like Javonte Williams the best. That's just me. The other guys are also good. I'm also going to talk to Eastside Harold with Damon Pierce. To me, trading for him would be the optimal move there in getting Pierce to the Cowboys at running back. I would love to trade a fifth rounder for someone like him. That's worth it. Instead of drafting a running back, get Pierce on this team, and he can be your eventual number one, I think, over even Zeke. Yes, even Zeke, I said that. Zeke could be more of a fullback, a blocking back of some sort. Anyways, so if the Cowboys, and this is per league sources, if this is true, I think the Cowboys should kind of focus on Javonte Williams or trade for someone like Pierce from the Texans. There you go, Eastside. I give you a little love there. Now, I do want to kind of bring up the rookie, Tyler Guyton. It's kind of in our title there. And it's important to note because when I'm going to show you here our draft, you see it right there, all the players we drafted per round. But here are the jersey numbers. Let's just focus on number 60. All right? Number 60 there, you see him on the picture on the right. Tyler Guyton. According to Brian Brodus, all right? I think that was it Brian Brodus that said it? No, it was Bobby Belt actually that said this.
Okay.
So it was on the Love of the Star podcast with Brian Brodus, and Bobby Belt said this about the left tackle position.
Okay.
Quote: I think it's almost a certainty that Chuma Edoga is at left tackle for the first practice in training camp. I think it's likely he's at left tackle for the first game, and I think it's possible he's at left tackle for the entire season. That's per Bobby Belt. Now, not taking it out of context, he reiterated this, that he believes that he said Tyler Guyton, he believes, is a future Pro Bowl player and believes that that's where he could end up being. But right now, he's still too raw of a prospect, and in his belief, he needs work and help to play left tackle still. So if the coaching staff feels like sitting him for the season, if they do that, again, now you're going to be, again, remember, they sat Tyler Smith until Tyron was injured in 2022. They had him kind of come up slower for some reason. So it seems like they might want to work him in slower. I don't know. I'm not sure what their plan is. But one of the storylines during training camp is definitely going to be left tackle. So right now, guys, it looks like Chuma Edoga. Listen, I'm going to be honest with everybody. Mm-hmm. Even with Tyler Guyton being the number one, you got to earn that left tackle. Yeah, even if he was better than Chuma Edoga. But it sounds like he actually is not better yet than Chuma Edoga.
Which, again, is That's why major. We have harped so much about the depth of the O-line and how much it is a risk, right? Like, we understand we had to move forward at some point, but 2 rookies, they're possibly at starting positions, right? And
Cooper Beebe, who has to learn how to snap the ball, which we don't even know where he's at with that as a rookie.
Like we can't even get anything going until we even begin to see that happening.
I mean, would you consider taking Guyton, sitting him down, and again, Chuma Edoga is a starting left tackle, but here's one other thing I'm going to say. What about if we had Tyler Smith at left tackle and Cooper Beebe at guard, where he'd be a better player starting off? But then we have to have Brock Hoffman at center, TJ Bass at center, one of those guys at center. So you're losing there, you're hurting there. But now Tyler Guyton's going to have to take a back seat. That's a major blow to the Cowboys' plans going forward. But, I mean, just the way of trying to make our offensive line as best as possible, do you really think Chuma Edoga can start this entire season? Bobby Belt thinks he can. That's scary to me. Because if we got Chuma Edoga starting this year, number one, Tyler Guyton's going to be a crazy bust. And that'd be worse than Mozzie even. So at least Mozzie started some games. And then you got to say, Chuma Edoga is not that good. So what are we doing here? We just have a bust and Guyton a first rounder, and Chuma Edoga is just not going to protect Dak Prescott very well. What are we doing to our offense here? And that means Dak. That means the run game. That means Mike McCarthy's game plan. All that shit. So it all starts with the O-line, and the Cowboys don't even, I don't know if this is the plan, if this is the thought process. Chuma Edoga may have to play the whole year and start that whole side. You know what you got to do if you're the Cowboys, and I'm going to say this again. I've said this name before. There's not many offensive linemen out there left, but there's a guy who just also cleared ability to work out, and that's David Bakhtiari, who is a good enough guy that maybe can keep us afloat. If, for a couple of weeks here and there, it's kind of like a Jason Peters situation. Jason Peters situation, right? Peters, it's kind of like a situation like that. That can just come in there and help a little bit until we can, maybe have Tyler Guyton ready to go. Because I don't think Chuma Edoga is the answer. He's a backup, and he's a backup for a game or two, okay. He's actually better at guard than tackle. So to me, it's a Tyler Smith. They just flip-flop spots, and Cooper Beebe could start at center if he can still hang it. If he can do that.
With all the new moves, or new additions, I should say, to the O-line, consistency and keeping guys from moving around. Like, I'm just saying, in previous years, like, we still value the versatility of being able to play multiple positions, but I think in previous years, we definitely played a little more fast and loose as far as where these guys actually lined up.
Right.
So it seems like
I'm saying this is the way to start the season this way, is what I'm saying.
The newer kind of philosophy is more
consistency.
You stay where you're at and you do not move. Like, unless absolutely necessary. So the only, like you said, the shuffling you're going to see is probably going to be more of a personnel thing than a position thing. So
I hear you.
The only thing that I'm kind of a little bit stuck in between, if Chuma is clearly the guy who's ready to go, that's got to be the move. Don't deny it.
Yeah.
But I don't want Tyler Guyton to stall in his development. You know what I mean? I wish there was a way to balance out maybe him being able to rotate in there and get some snaps and get some work.
The hope is that he'll get in there sometime in the year.
I know, but the point is that, like I said, with the Cowboys wanting consistency from their line, can't really see them saying at some point, like, oh, okay, come on out, let's go put Guyton in.
Listen, the biggest thing to remember is that if Guyton's not ready, if the first round pick is not ready, and he's in the game and he gets Dak killed multiple times over and over again, then that means Dak is not going to have confidence in him. That means he's going to lose confidence in himself. So you can't rush him out there. So you got to go with Chuma Edoga. But then I say, if Chuma Edoga is the guy who's ready, but he's going to get torn apart half the time, how is that going to help the offense? He's still not that. Even if he's better than Tyler Guyton, doesn't mean he's that good. And that means Tyler Guyton right now. Tyler Guyton hopefully will be better than him. it looks like it's going to take a little more time, which is
Yeah.
a problem if that's the direction we're going. So to me, that would be a nightmare situation, and it would hurt the offense, McCarthy's scheme. It'll hurt Dak Prescott, and it almost seems like the Cowboys front office are willing to allow this to happen. It's strange to me, but anyways,
Just lots of things are strange in these NFL parts.
So now, as I finish up with a couple things before we get to our finale here, which is the PUP list, I'll talk about Micah Parsons real quick, because people are saying, of course, we've all heard that he disappears in the fourth quarter in games. And again, in fourth quarter, what do you usually see Micah? Hands on hips. Mm-hmm. Maybe sometimes a little more on the sideline here and there for more particular plays he's put in. Is that because he's tired? So when you look at Micah Parsons and the PFF numbers, his pass rush grade in the fourth quarter this past year, basically, he had 16 well, we know he had more than 16 pressures, but it was the third most at the time. Third most pressures in the fourth quarter. And he also was 36.6% pass rush win rate, which was by far the number one pass rush win rate in the league. So this is in the fourth quarter. So no matter what you might feel like he disappears, actually he's like third best in some categories, number one in other categories. That's in the fourth quarter.
Very consistent.
So in the fourth quarter, he is winning pass rush. He is getting pressures, third most in the NFL. So Micah is still doing a lot of stuff in that fourth quarter. But here's what's funny. Micah Parsons then responded with, quote, "Don't worry. I never make the same mistakes twice. I will be ready. No excuses. But we will own the fourth." And then he had a picture of a scale, basically.
Okay.
And it was 241 pounds, 241.55 pounds is how much he weighs. So 241. Remember last year, he was at 255.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised that he's slimmed down as much as he has, but that tells me, Micah's on some Need for Speed shit this year.
Yeah, he's going to definitely, we saw some videos of him doing the bend, practicing the bend, which is going to be fast. He's going to be a lot faster than he was last year at taking these angles in the bend at the quarterback when he pass rushes on the outside. So he's doing that. You also see him doing a lot of practice, like in coverage, moving his waist. That means linebacker. Mm-hmm. He's more of the linebacker weight, but he's going to be playing linebacker as a blitzing linebacker with using his speed to break through the offensive line and try to disrupt the offensive scheme and the plays. So I believe that he's going to try to, in the fourth quarter, he's going to use his speed over his power and strength to own the fourth. And again, even with all of that, even though with his response to that being, listen, I won't make a mistake again. I think he meant by putting on, sorry. I think he meant by putting on too much weight.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
That was the mistake. It's funny. It reminds me of, I think, was it Dak's like a
1 year,
second year or something? Yeah. Like he also bulked up, I think, a little bit too much, and he obviously said so.
Yeah, he made some comments about that
basically
too. Yeah.
Just saying that, I think I, might have overdone it there with the muscle and the weight gain.
Well, listen, the thing is, he went up to 255 and then dropped back to 250, he said. That was last year. Now he's at 241. Obviously a big drop there. So he's going to be faster, sleeker, right? But you got the Eagles going there and giving him three triple teams. 3 guys hitting him at different parts on every single play. That's going to wear you down. The key is you got to keep him off the line of scrimmage. You can't put him on there every single time like Dan Quinn did. If you put Micah every single time as an edge rusher in about the same place, they're going to key on him, hit him with 3 guys, and weaken him for that fourth quarter, which he's still dominating, but he's still, how much more would he dominate if he wasn't weakened and broken down like that, right? Yeah. So my thing is, using the speed factor, I think he still might take some breaks here and there, but, when it comes to being taken out of the game to rest. But I think the linebacker position, as a blitzer, almost every play, is going to work for his advantage when it comes to using his speed. Whether it's around the edge or going inside the A or B gaps, I think that is the plan with the Cowboys this year. He's going to be faster. He's going to be blitzing from different places. It's going to be harder to triple team him now. And I think that's what we've been saying since 2 years ago about the Cowboys should have kind of been doing that with Dan Quinn. Well, I think that's my guess with Zimmer going forward. But we're seeing already the weight loss, meaning he's going to use the speed over the power. So again, Micah has dropped weight once, this year, headed into his 4th season in the NFL. Faster, sleeker. The only question is, how will it impact him when he goes up against 330-pound offensive linemen and tackles, let's say offensive left and right tackles for 17-plus games? That's where it wears down. So we'll see if this losing weight will help him, or with the speed portion, or will it still will players still will be able to throw him around
for
though?
His stamina and endurance. What does this mean for, like you said, his playing style? What does this mean for him on the D line? Is he gonna, like you said, is he gonna get pushed around a little bit more?
We're gonna see. So I think the speed's gonna help throughout a game. I think at the end of the games you have to use them wisely. And where you're going to use them, where you come in blitzing from, that's where it's going to come in. I think impactful, you talk about left tackles and right tackles, but you go against guards and centers, they're a little smaller. And using his speed, I know it's a more smaller area too, but using that speed, he can get in there and still cause issues and wreak havoc. So we'll see what happens with Micah Parsons going into this season. But he's lost some weight, which is again planned. Now, training camp, guys. Let's get to the final portion of things here at training camp. I want to start off with Jerry Jones.
Jerry.
The opening press conference for the Cowboys usually is on that, that check-in date or something like that. They had to move it back, guys. They had to move the opening press conference back for the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. The organization announced today that the opening press conference scheduled for Wednesday, it was going to be on Wednesday, has now been postponed until Saturday morning. That presser will begin at around 11 a.m. Central Time, for those in the Central Time, so that's 12 noon here on my East Coast, and of course over there it's like 8 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So it'll be on the radio. So again, it's going to be most of the same shit we already heard, so we'll probably not do that live. We'll probably just kind of, recap it whenever we go live that night probably. We're going to probably go live on Saturday night. So again, the only thing is it was supposed to be on Wednesday. And there was no real explanation to this on the Cowboys website. Gonna have to wait an extra day.
Like, surprise, they moved it. Just
moved it out of the blue, right? They have to wait a couple more days before you hear from the Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones at the annual State of the Union address. The Cowboys do this they address the media in Oxnard, usually on those tennis courts, where the Cowboys start off training camp, right? So it's strange, right? So this, again, you talk about distractions and different issues going on. What's going on, Jerry? Not that it's a big deal, but it's just another problem on top of a problem, because we know the reason why now. It hasn't been announced, but we know the reason why. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, again, scheduled to take the stand, or did take the stand today in a paternity trial at the federal courthouse in Texarkana. On Monday morning, he actually was there. All right. So the trial, the actual full trial, is expected to last 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
4 to 5 days means he misses Wednesday, and he misses his trip to Oxnard, where he loves to show up there, always show out and kind of say, "Hey, I'm here, guys," and always be walking around, being seen. He's not going to be seen too often.
It's like mini Hollywood for Jerry.
Yeah, but he's not going to be there now. He's missing the first week of training camp, which is, again, another...
unprecedented for Jerry, obviously.
Another little mini distraction coming from the owner now. Forget the players. The owner is making... And he said all in, and look, and he's ending it with, I got to go to court because I fucked some waitress, some stewardess in the airlines when we won our last Super Bowl. Maybe that's the reason why we lost the Super Bowl. We haven't been back there, Jerry Jones. So anyways, the point is, with 4 or 5 days being on trial, Jerry Jones' arrival in Oxnard is going to be delayed. And, of course, that also means the opening State of the Union press conference. And, again, I want to reiterate this. The Cowboys, .com and the Cowboys officials, they didn't say the reason why. We're just putting 1 plus 1 together. All right, this is pretty easy to figure out. So, obviously, he's not going to be able to be there. That's why it's got to be pushed back to Saturday. So, again, it was Wednesday. Now it's Saturday. The Cowboys arrive on Tuesday, tomorrow. So, guys, I just want to let you know. Tomorrow there will not be a live stream here. Unless something crazy happens or we sign CeeDee Lamb. But there will not be a live stream. But, again, you're going to start getting into MyCowboysFamily video season now. Shorts are going to still be going on. We're going to still do live streams here and there. But now you're getting into training camp video season, where you're going to get a lot of your news from me talking in videos about what went down in practice. I want you guys to get your info from there. So make sure you read it, leave your comments, and share it out.
Yes.
All right. It's going to be a daily thing here, pretty much, with the video side of things, and we will be live a couple times a week at least during training camp. But it's not going to be like every night live stream. It's going to be mainly videos coming out every single day, probably 5, 6, 7 videos a day. You won't even be able to see it in your notifications. Sometimes you have to actually go to the channel so you can see all the videos. So don't forget to do that here as training camp season starts. So tomorrow, what I'm going to tell you is going to happen. Sometime, again, over there they're going to land what? 5, 4, 5, 3 o'clock? I don't know, their time. So probably by like 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, Central Time or East Coast time, you'll see some video posts of the players checking in, getting ready. We're going to see them arriving. Some people, I believe Dak probably is arriving on his own. You know, usually a couple of the star players arrive on their own time.
Yeah.
You know, drive in or fly on their own, right?
I know we've seen it before where, like, yeah, like they kind of pull together and, you know, arrive as a smaller group within the group.
Yeah, or just arrive on their own, right?
Well,
so,
yeah, I mean,
Dak does that. So, again, we'll see what happens. Jerry Jones throwing out some more distractions out there. So, instead of hearing from him, Stephen Jones and McCarthy on Wednesday, which is technically the first day of practice. Again, it's actually the check-in date. That's a medical update clearance date. So just so you guys know, tomorrow the Cowboys will land in Oxnard and check into the hotel. They'll leave Dallas, go to California, go to Oxnard, go to their hotel. No practice, no nothing tomorrow evening. Mm-hmm. All right, that's the way it's going to be. So tomorrow we're going to definitely shouldn't be any big updates, but anything that's important, you're going to see it on the videos that we post here, and then. Then on Wednesday, because we won't be live tomorrow, but Wednesday, what you're going to see is the Cowboys doing their physicals, their health checks. The final check-ins, I think they have to be checked in by like 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time on Wednesday. And that is about when the Cowboys are doing their press conference to kick off the true check-in, kickoff of training camp. CD doesn't show up on Wednesday in the morning, he's getting fined. So that's when the Joneses had this press conference. Now we got another delay because of Jerry fucking Jones. Mm-hmm. So anyways, there you go. That's the update there. I just wanted to say that's the way it's going to be. Wednesday is not going to be a real practice out there. You might see some players, you know, walking around or something like that. But on Thursday, I'm pretty sure is the first open practice. It's going to be probably walkthroughs, no hitting, probably till after the weekend with pads on. So that's the way training camp's looking. So we still have time to break things down. And let me start it off, baby. This is the end of the stream, but this is kind of the meat of it here. Yeah. And I want to talk about the most important thing right now at this moment. Obviously, the contracts we talked about, all that stuff. Right now, this moment is about who's going on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list. And even though the Cowboys, other teams have announced their list, the Cowboys have not announced their list yet. So when you look at this, there's some obvious names in my opinion, and I'm going to bring you through some of the guys that I think are going to be on the PUP list. What happens is they go into training camp already injured. They cannot practice with the team. They have to stay on the sidelines with the rehabilitation team and doing the cords and doing some stretching and that kind of stuff. And then they cannot interact, they cannot intermingle and do team drills until they're off of the PUP list. This is just like a placeholder to make sure these guys get worked in right without rushing them too fast back after big injuries like we've had with some of our guys, starting with Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs, probably obviously the biggest name for the Cowboys, and he's good. And again, a lot of people are like, we've seen these videos. I'm putting them out there, and he's looking great. He's not ready to compete in team drills yet, guys. He's close, but I don't think he's there yet. So my biggest name here on this list is Trayvon Diggs. Listen, he had surgery on the ACL about 9 months ago. The surgery went well. We know that. No other ligaments were damaged when they did the ACL check on his left leg. Mm-hmm. Slowly been working himself back. Like I said, we've been seeing the videos of him coming back. He looks really good. He's cutting. He's running out there first with a brace, then with no brace. And I say a brace, I mean like a sleeve almost. McCarthy, back in the OTAs, in the mandatory minicamp, McCarthy said that, he gave an update and was very promising about where Trayvon Diggs is. He said that, Diggs looked, quote, great in his rehab. So, again, across the board, Diggs is like on schedule or ahead of schedule. Which
is great to see, but like you said, that still doesn't necessarily mean he's 100% ready to go.
9 months ago, it doesn't mean you want to throw him on the field, right, Stephen Jones? He did with Gallup.
Yeah, it could also be part of whatever the Cowboys like prescribed maybe like reintegration plan is for Trayvon. Like you said, like in order to not just throw him in there heavy, even if he is ready to go right now, they'll still put him on the PUP list so he can slowly work his way in, maybe.
The key word there is acclimate. Acclimate back to that through the injury. But here's the thing. With no one officially saying this, I'm telling you, Diggs will be in the PUP list. He'll be on the physically unable to perform list. He will be working out on the sideline, not with the team. But that may, again, I believe that may last a week or two. You know, maybe 2.5 weeks. But I think most of training camp, he probably won't be on that field doing team drills and hitting too often. They're going to want to make sure he's going to bring him along slowly. We know he's a starter, and he's going to be out there. But again, he'll be out there probably, I think, really doing some drills. And even if he's out there, it doesn't mean he has to do team drills. He can still be held out of those. Yeah. But so that could be another possibility too. But Trayvon Diggs, I do believe, will start off unable to be with the team in team drills and team activities and that on the field working out with others. I think it'll take a couple of weeks before he gets on that field with confidence. And if he gets off the list in a week, he still probably won't be running into the rotation too much. Maybe just some basic light work. Maybe the entire training camp for him, even if he gets off the PUP list. So keep that out, guys. And again, some people are saying he might be out for the Cleveland game, for the season opener, which is still a possibility. I just wouldn't rule him out for that. I think he's ahead. I think he's on schedule, and I think by the time he gets, these 2 months past, basically a month and a half, he'll be more than ready to hit that field and go out there.
I think that it might be maybe a little closer than some of us would want, but if I have to agree with you. I find it a little bit hard to believe that he wouldn't be ready for week 1, just based on the timeline and the way that things seem to be going. But of course, once we actually see what happens.
Yeah, we have to wait to see what happens in training camp. And listen, they held Luke Schoonmaker back with his foot for 3 weeks in training camp. I mean, with Trayvon Diggs and his ACL, you think we're going to risk that?
No, especially not when one of those two guys is getting paid, the big bucks.
Yeah, Schoonmaker ain't getting that money. He is worth it, though, like in second round, weight, I guess you could say. That's you don't want to waste that second rounder either. But let's talk about a guy who was a third rounder last year. We didn't get to see him on the field in the regular season game. DeMarvion Overshown. DeMarvion Overshown, I believe, will also be on the PUP list. Okay. You remember, guys, Overshown, like Trayvon Diggs, tore his left ACL. Linebacker, I think he's number 18 now, out of Texas, spent the OTAs in May working with a group of rehabbing players. You see it on the thumbnail. He's in the group there. I think he's number 18. Here, I'll just go right to it. Why not? Thumbnail it. Boom. Oh, number 13. Lucky number. He's Gallup now. So now we got Overshown. All right, Agent Zero wearing 13. And you can see Overshown, another guy on this list here, second on my list of guys to kind of watch when it comes to being on the PUP list as far as importance of this is concerned on defense. Overshown at linebacker, obviously, we'd like to see him out there. He was injured, obviously, a month before Diggs. So he's got an extra month of rehab under the books.
Yeah, right? He should be further along when it comes to the injury side of things, even if not necessarily the football side of things, obviously.
Right, so he was rehabbing with the injured players. If he can return to being about 100%, he'll likely find himself as one of the starters in 2024, which I do believe he will be a full-time kind of 60-70% player in a linebacker rotation situation. Probably start most of the time eventually for Damone Clark, let's say, if that happens. But you got to also remember, we also drafted another linebacker in the third round this year. Yes, it was Cooper Beebe and also Maris Liufau, who's a linebacker. We want to give him some work in there too, right? So again, we also signed Willie Harvey Jr. out of the UFL. So, and of course we have Damone Clark, number 33 there, right? In his second year, Damone Clark started all 17 games and recorded 109 tackles. So pretty solid, even though still could have had improvement there, Damone Clark. But in the end, guys, to earn a playing time here with the Cowboys in a starting spot, he has a lot of work cut out for him. And I do believe he starts, he could, I'm not saying he's going to be on that list for sure as a PUP player, but I just have a feeling the Cowboys will start him off there. And then maybe a week, he'll be off sooner than Trayvon Diggs is my point there. for DeMarvion Overshown. A guy who got injured, torn ACL. Also I think I know our tight end. I'll talk about him in a minute. But one of the receivers, David Durbin or something like this, he was also injured right in that same time frame, and he'll be probably on the PUP list as well. Now, but those are low-level guys. I want to just continue with some of the high-level guys, and I want to continue with a guy that we got to keep an eye on. Two guys, actually, that were not injured in the regular season. It was off-season surgeries that we have to talk about here. I'm going to start with the big one in the middle here, Mazi Smith. Remember, he had that situation, baby? Of course, his rookie year was a bust in many ways.
Yeah.
But a lot of that might not be his fault.
Okay.
Again, he was asked to, for some unknown reason, drop 30 pounds. I don't know why. During training camp last year. So he lost a lot of that bulk. And again, he was pushed around on the defense in the trenches way too often. But we've already discussed what he said just a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, that basically he's been building up the weight in a healthy way, in a muscular way, but also adding the pounds the right way.
Well, good.
So, which we knew this. This was like last week, right? So now we got a defensive coordinator like Zimmer right now, who specializes in trying to develop run-stopping defensive lines. So he's going to have to do his job here on the defensive. We have a lot to expect from him probably as a starter for the Cowboys as a nose tackle / one tech. But we talked about the injury. After the season, he had some shoulder issues, so he decided to do a cleanup job there. And he was dealing with a shoulder issue. He had surgery, which kept him out of the OTAs.
Okay.
And he didn't play. He did not practice. He was there. He didn't hold out, but he did not practice. During the mini camp, he was not able to practice because he was still with the rehabbing players and with that shoulder surgery he had. So right now he's listed as the Cowboys' starting defensive tackle. Obviously, he could be on that PUP list to kick off the season. He's going to have to prove that he was worthy of that first round 2023 first round pick. But the most important thing here is, shoulder injury. Will he start off on the PUP list, or will he be kind of held out of practice for a couple of team drills and then, kind of just be put into more of the snaps, or they're going to keep him on the PUP list until, for an extra week or something to kind of make sure he's good to go. When all these things will probably be decided, and the Cowboys don't announce it for some reason. They haven't announced their guys yet. Doesn't seem like any of these guys have been, like they're not. Nobody's far is bad enough that they can announce right now that they're going to be on the PUP list.
Exactly.
So I think that when it comes to the Wednesday, kind of health check they're going to do, the physical they're going to do, that will be the day you'll hear the Cowboys announce who will be on the PUP list. And I think that Mazi Smith, unfortunately, could be one of those guys that could be there for a short time because of that shoulder injury. He didn't practice in OTAs or minicamp. So, again, a lot to prove already. Might be not even able to even get on that field for a week or something. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Another guy with even more to prove, and I mean, they both have a lot to prove, almost the same. But Luke Schoonmaker picked right behind Mazi Smith. Guess what happened? Practicing in the offseason, hurt his shoulder.
Oh.
Same as Mazi, has had surgery. So he's a little behind on Mazi when it comes to that. And, of course, before that, we know the situation with Schoonmaker. He's been a bust for this offense right now. So, when it comes to Mazi's fellow Michigan teammate there, right, an alum, second-round pick, he's dealing with that off-season shoulder surgery as well, unfortunately. And guess what he's dealing with? Also dealing with a hamstring issue. So he's got two issues already. And plus, he's an issue he hasn't played well or enough for us to see anything.
That's also an issue.
Yeah, so, again, like Mazi Smith, he missed OTAs and mandatory minicamp. As far as not missed camp, he didn't get fined. Missed it by he wasn't able to participate.
Yeah.
So, again, according to the concerns, Luke Schoonmaker was basically was kept off the field by the plantar fasciitis that caused him to miss a lot of the offseason activities last year as well. So it's plantar fasciitis. He's got the hamstring. He's got the freaking shoulder surgery. Are we going to see this guy even fucking play anytime soon? I mean, so these are issues that the Cowboys knew, which was that plantar fasciitis. These things here, the hamstring thing popped up, the shoulder surgery popped up during him doing some offseason work. So Cowboys knew these issues, drafted him in the second round anyways. Now he's got a lot still to prove a lot. So much. I mean, right there with Mozzie to prove a lot here, being a second round waste right now. Schoonmaker, well, you know he's not going to be the starting tight end. At least Mozzie's a starting dude with a tackle. Can he do it right? I don't know. But Schoonmaker, it's going to be Jake Ferguson, obviously, the starting tight end.
I know. The thing that sucks, though, is that, like you said, it's not like Schoonmaker even does anything that he does better than current guys on the team. In a lot
I think
of ways.
Blocking he does. But that's only when he's in there with the second or third tight end. You know what I'm saying? When he's the third tight end, you see him, 10 snaps a game? You drafted a second-round guy for 10 snaps? It makes no sense, right? So that's where I feel the issue is with this tight end room in a way. But he's the number 2. He won't be the number 1, though. So we have to have a lot of 12 personnel and 13 personnel to see Schoonmaker and be worth the value that we picked them at. So, unless Jake Ferguson, knock on wood, something happens to him, hopefully not, then he'll start, of course, if something happens to Jake Ferguson. Yeah. He'll be our starter, which is a problem for us. But right now, he's also got 3 other tight ends trying to take his spot as the primary backup. I'll explain that in a minute. But fortunately for Schoonmaker, I'll say this. The other tight ends trying to catch him, 2 out of the 3 guys are also dealing with injuries. And I'm going to talk about that now here because, again, and don't forget, the third guy is a rookie tight end that was an undrafted, in April, which is that hyphenated guy, Spivin is, you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, so right now, guys, Schoonmaker, I guarantee you he's starting on the PUP list. Yeah. Schoonmaker. So
find it hard to see him starting anywhere else.
Like, yeah, I mean,
as far as
starting off
training camp.
Yeah, so I don't see him, I don't see him being on that field. So him and Trayvon Diggs, I think, are almost shoe-ins. I think Overshown and Mozzie are kind of like the next level of question marks. We'll know for sure, maybe a couple days before training, maybe today or maybe tomorrow or the next. But I think by Wednesday we're going to know for sure that these are going to be. That's why we're doing this show tonight, because the next time we talk to you guys, it'll be after Wednesday's announcements of all these guys. And I'm telling you, I got a little read on this. I'm not saying they're all going to go to the PUP list, but keep an eye for these 6 guys, because at least 2 or 3 are going to be there, guarantee it. And I think Schoonmaker, Trayvon Diggs, definitely going to be PUP guys starting off the season, that the training camp sessions this way. Now, I talked about 4 guys, right? I got 2 more. And again, it's funny because out of the 6 guys, 3 of them are tight ends. Schoonmaker, of course, but you got 2 other guys that are ailing right now, the backups to him. Peyton Hendershot, right now entering his 3rd year, had a bad year last year, and also had off-season ankle surgery. All right? The other tight end who has a higher upside was an undrafted guy last year, John Stevens Jr., who was having a fantastic training camp last year, a fantastic, preseason as well with Overshown. They both got hurt the same game, and he tore his ACL, left ACL. So Stevens, like Spanford, who was, again, an undrafted tight end, John Stevens Jr., undrafted tight end last year. Spanford is also an undrafted tight end this year. All right, so a lot of people were saying that John Stevens Jr., and I said this last year, he was going to surpass Luke Schoonmaker and become the second string, the backup tight end.
Yeah.
Over Schoonmaker. That's the look for Stevens.
He was trending in that direction.
Yeah, so Schoonmaker, that's embarrassing for him. But John Stevens was a big loss, and if you look at it that way, you're like, damn, he was jumping Hendershot. He was jumping Schoonmaker. He was going to be the right-hand man to Ferguson, basically. Yeah. And Schoonmaker dropped a 3, a second-round pick. So, again, we'll have to see where John Stevens Jr. is, because he got injured as well, right? So, tore his ACL in the preseason, John Stevens, ended his year before he could even begin it as an undrafted. So now we got to see if both these guys, Hendershot, even if he comes back to pre-injury form, is he going to be able to even make the team? Because he was already kind of hanging on by a thread last year. And then, of course, you look at John Stevens Jr., assuming he continues his probability and his ceiling, if he's back to that pre-injury form, the battle in the tight end room could heat up again. And you can see John Stevens making a run at number 86. You see him on your screen there when it comes to Luke Schoonmaker. So, and then you look at the undrafted tight end, who's not injured, but Brevin Spanford, who is a big, 6'7" tight end out of Minnesota. Cowboys signed him. I'm sorry, he's 6'6", 270. As a tight end, that's a big guy. And he's going to be playing out there.
Reminds me of, who was that one tight end that we had that was a few years ago that was also kind of a freakish size. It
Rico
didn't go anywhere.
Gathers?
There we go.
How can you forget that name?
I know it didn't go anywhere. I almost said Rico Dowdle. That's why I stopped myself. I'm like, that is not the name.
Can't forget Rico Gathers.
Halfway there.
Basketball player turned football player turned free agent now and not with anybody. But anyways, Brevin Spanford, who's a tight end, a blocking tight end, and can still make some catches. He's a guy they were expected to drafted in the 4th or 5th or 6th round. And he was undrafted. So, and he may make a run at this thing as well, knocking a guy off like Schoonmaker. Brevin Spanford will probably knock out Schoonmaker if he comes about of this thing the right way. And then you got someone like, Spanford will probably knock out Hendershot. And then John Stevens could kind of be second on the list if he ends up playing well over someone like Schoonmaker. Now, the question is, will he be on the PUP list? I think that Stevens will probably start on the PUP list. And so will Schoonmaker and maybe even Peyton Hendershot. So now you're telling me Brevin Spanford, it's going to be what? Him and he's going to have to be the backup. One of the he's like their second string right now, possibly going into training camp. It's Jake Ferguson, and then Brevin Spanford is going to be our second tight end for half of training camp. It may be that, guys. Again, if he puts that 6'6", 270 frame to work, he could go up the depth chart with the other 3 tight ends out.
Yeah.
If they're on the PUP list, right?
The injuries create opportunities.
Listen, there's only 2 people standing in his way right now if you look at it like this. So again, Hendershot and Stevens could both be off the roster if Brevin Spanford makes a run up this board, up this depth chart while they're rehabbing and getting back to form off the PUP list. So we'll see. Look, I don't know if Hendershot will be coming into camp on the PUP list. I don't know if John Stevens. I'm pretty sure John Stevens probably will be on. Whatever happens to Overshone, because they got injured in the same game, it's probably what's going to happen to John Stevens Jr. there. So, to me, I think that those guys they might. I think John Stevens gets on this PUP list, unfortunately. So I'm looking at like 3 or 4 guys that probably got on the PUP list, and I can see a guy like, Hendershot possibly not being on the PUP list, and I can see possibly. What was the other guy? I just mentioned him. Those 2 guys. 2 guys I think could probably maybe squeeze through here. Mozzie Smith possibly could be one of those guys. I don't think Schoonmaker squeezes through. I think Mozzie might squeeze through. Overshone, if he squeezes through, then it means that John Stevens squeezes through. And Trayvon Diggs, I think he's definitely going to be on the PUP list. So that's my thoughts on that.
So
what?
No. I was actually going to say something, and then you said it, and then I agreeing with you. So yes.
Perfect. Hey.
Again, out of that whole list here, as we wrap things up here on the MCF side of things, out of that entire list, what player obviously it feels like you have to be concerned about the tight end position just from a health standpoint based off what you said. Since
in training camp,
we have too many tight ends on that list currently now. So, but, I have to admit, I'm feeling pretty good about all of them. They're all, I'm just saying, like, they're all kind of towards the end of their rehab life cycle. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. Rehab, I guess, I can't quite think of it. But the point is that, yes, they're rehabilitating. They'll hopefully be joining the team officially and be back to full football form, ready to go.
The only thing I'm going to say, the last thing, I guess, what does this do if no Trayvon Diggs out there for a week or 2? That's going to help guys like Kalen Carson, the rookie. You're going to see more from Deshaun Wright, putting him to the test and see if he's going to be worth keeping on this team.
Yeah,
so you're going to be able to see a couple other guys. Maybe it's more important to see them who can earn these spots than to see Trayvon Diggs on the field right now.
We know Trayvon is good. The biggest thing with Trayvon is just we want to make sure that he's picking up the playbook from Zimmer and learning some of the new things and adjustments that they're going to do. But for the most part, it's I think a little easier, I'm guessing, or it's going to be a little easier, I'm guessing, for Trayvon to come in and go back to doing what he's doing at that high level.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys aren't worried about Trayvon getting back to like like normal as much. I mean, you know, I'm saying it's more about mental at this point, I think. But I think that it's just a matter of the process going through that. And they know that when he comes back, he'll be Trayvon Diggs still, right?
Are you saying to trust the process?
I'm saying that Trayvon Diggs knows that when he's on that field ready to go, he's going to be back to his, mentally he's going to be back to that Trayvon Diggs form, or at least the best he can be right now, you know, when he gets on that field. But we don't have to necessarily see that week 1, 2, and 3 of training camp.
I agree.
We can see that in week 4, 5, and 6 of training camp. So to me, we need to see more who's going to step up at cornerback. So that's the better question, I think, when you have Trayvon Diggs being out, if he's out for a couple of weeks in training camp. And then,
or even the corner situation, you know. Like,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kalen Carson and Nashawn Wright, where do they fit in on this team? Like, is Kalen Carson, Scott Jr. from last year, 6th rounder, let them, they will get more snaps. And now make the decision better and easier for the Cowboy, coaches and scouts and front office to kind of see who they're going to end up cutting. And then we get Trayvon back, and he gets, slightly put into the mix and gets worked back in. And then we got to make the cuts, and we'll know better about which cornerbacks we can cut or not. And I think that's the key there. No Trayvon Diggs. Now, linebacker with Overshown, it's going to give guys like Maris Liufau a lot more opportunity early in training camp if he's not back on that field, right? It's not going to take his job, but it's going to give Maris Liufau, right? Is that how you say it? More of an opportunity to show what he can do under Zimmer with Kendricks, and kind of see how that mixes in there as another kind of blitzing linebacker in a way at some times, right? So
Liufau. Okay.
So my point is that you have some guys that you can still, I don't know if you're not going to use Marquise Bell linebacker, but without Overshown, if he's in the PUP list, you get more Marist Liufau.
Yeah.
And then, Mozzie Smith, there's really no one to really see, just a bunch of rookies. If he's not out on that field, that's why I think he will be on that field. I think he needs to be on that field sooner than later because he needs to show us he can do this, right? For Mozzie Smith. Luke Schoonmaker, him and John Stevens and Peyton Hendershot, if all three guys are not there, Brevin Spanford becomes his training camp. And if he shows out, he wins a spot in his team over all these other three guys that are just sitting there, or even a second round pick.
Also makes me think that the fullback position will once again be very vital. Just because I'm just saying the fullback is going to help fill a little bit of that gap while the tight ends are,
good point.
Busy rehabilitating.
Again, you're right about that, but I think we do have another. I think we have another tight end from UCF out there, so he'll be like the third camp body kind of guy. But he's gonna be our third stringer. I don't know if we have many other tight ends on this team. So right now, Cowboys got to be careful there. But I do believe, in my mind, even if all three guys start off on the PUP list, I think that there will be a couple of guys a couple of guys are going to be put right back on. Like after a week, they'll be right back in where hitting. When hitting comes, they'll be there ready to go. Like Mozzie, like maybe Overshown, maybe John Stevens. Maybe these guys start trickling back. A Hendershot. We'll see. But for big shout outs to our first gifted membership for the week, Skeptical Fan, dropping the gift that keeps on giving. And this time Juan Carlos gets the prize. Congrats to Juan Carlos. Big shout out to Skeptical Fan. What did the man say, baby? Well, I guess we discussed it.
Well, I think he also said go Cowboys.
He's always
go Cowboys.
Always saying go Cowboys.
Shout out to you, Skeptical Fan. Much love.
Much appreciation to him.
Hope you're doing well there. Yes, guys, perfect timing as well because we are wrapping things up tonight. Yeah. So let me start doing some shout-outs, but I got to start off with the shout-outs of the representation here on the board. So I'll give Mr. MCF a second to finish updating the board so that he can visually join along with me. So,
I will.
And yes, guys, by the way, drop them if you got them. Yes, the fun thing about the season starting is once again, the emoji fun cycle begins here.
Yes.
NMCF, we update the emojis every week to match the team that we will be facing off against. And, we updated them somewhat recently in the middle of the off-season here, so we could have a little more off-season fun. But now that training camp is here, we got to really flex and put them to use, right? Yes.
Damn right.
The clown show emojis are a classic.
Yeah, they're popping, unfortunately. They're on and popping. And by the way, Mr. Skeptical is in 18th place on our board right now. Appreciate you, brother. And first place on the gifting board. I don't know if you shouted out the leaders and all that stuff.
I know. I told you I was waiting for you to finish updating the board so that we can do it together.
Yes. Sorry.
But it's okay. I'll skip ahead. Shout out to Oh, I just wanted to mess with you. I'm going to go ahead and do the shout-outs here in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and do the shout-outs on the board.
That would work.
But Jetly44, much love. Have a great night. Of course, you too, Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. We have Juan Carlos representing, much love. Even you, Leaside Herald. See Wilson Santiago, hello and hi. And yeah, it will take a little while for Diggs to be fully at 100%. The good thing is he'll be almost as good at 90%. You know what I mean?
I think it's more, that's going to be the mental part, getting over the possible issues he could have, like hurting himself again. But I do think that he's the kind of guy that's going to, be able to get to as close as he was before the injury that he had. The unfortunate injury.
MB, much love. You take it easy as well. We have AOD in the house. Scottzilla, hello and hi.
Zilla.
We have, let me see who else is here. I guess real shit technically counts, right?
Kinda.
Texas Cat, hello and hi. Raul, much love. We'll go back. Revelation Journalist, have a great night. Take it easy. We got Burn Bar in the house. Bon gang.
Hell yeah.
Let me see. I think, it doesn't let me go too much further back.
By the way, Jet Li 44 jumps into 9th place on our board here tonight with a couple drops, and Skeptical is in 18th place since he dropped in here as well. Dwayne Broussard with the thanks. He's got the $2 thanks he dropped earlier, and Tony Wimbish, appreciate you back in the membership. Navy Blue Crew representing that star over everything. So thank you all for the love and appreciation that you do for us here on this channel, on this side of things. And of course, we'll be having an After Dark session tonight, a short stream. But hopefully, definitely going to have to be a shorter stream than our usual ones. But, have a little fun, listen to some music, probably a music stream, chill, hang out, kick off the week right. And, you will probably not see us tomorrow on here and on After Dark.
And if you do, then breaking news.
That must have been CeeDee Lamb signed, or, someone traded or something. So who knows? But, we do this here. Definitely, if there's any major news, we're going to definitely bring it to you guys, and we'll discuss it here. And, of course, we always recap it all. Even if it's a couple days down the line, we recap it all here at My Cowboys Family. So thank you for joining us here. The videos are coming soon. Tomorrow they start coming out, guys. Mm-hmm. The trip to Oxnard is on tomorrow. They leave Dallas in the afternoon. They get to Oxnard in the afternoon because of the time change, and then they check into the hotel. And the next day is the medical check, which will finalize these PUP, physically unable to perform list candidates we just discussed here tonight with you all.
Yep.
So leave your comments down below if you're watching as a replay. I'd like to know your thoughts on anybody we might have missed. I know David Durden, I know, is a guy that is a receiver who's undrafted, who's going to probably not even make the team, maybe practice squad at best. I know he'll definitely probably be on the PUP list. He got injured at basically the same time as John Stevens and DeMarvion Overshone with that same left knee ACL tear. Yeah. So anyways, we'll see all what happens here on Wednesday and Thursday. We go live again and catch you up on things. In the meantime, keep your eye out for all the videos coming, not just the shorts, but the videos. And make sure you check into the channel so you can see what's going on here as we wait for Jerry Jones's speech on Saturday now.
And the way to do that, guys, is to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. Of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below.
And big shout-outs
to the man LC Lincoln Kane, representing not just your Cash App King, but also your sponsor of the week.
You see him down there, back to back, like our 90s Cowboys, as the sponsor of the week and as the Cash App King. So big shout out to Lincoln Kane there. Tonight we had a little drop in the Cash App from the man Jet Li 44. So much love to him. But right now, Jet Li is running 9 out of 10 weeks. He's being the man. He's the man of the gifting membership.
That's right.
Leaderboard. And again, he's done it for 9 out of 10 weeks. We can't say how much that helps the channel and other members here that get their own, as you can see, get their own emojis too when they're in that Navy Blue Crew, get a trial month. So thank you to Jet Li 44, 9 out of 10 weeks, but he's not in the lead right now. Right now, the leader is Skeptical Fan, who literally just dropped a little love here through the gifting version of things. And you see, you got Mr. Juan Carlos, I think, who got that gifted membership. So big shout outs to Skeptical as he's in the lead right now on the gifting side. And who's leading and in the lead in the Cash App side? It's the King, Lincoln Kane, he's still the leader there. And the overall board, it is still Lincoln Kane. So he is coming not just for a repeat, back-to-back. He's going for a three-peat. Big shout-outs to Lincoln Kane. Check out his channel all the way from Australia. And, yes, he's repping that star for everything. So, on that note, it is time to wrap it up here on the My Cowboys Family side. You'll see you over on the After Dark Part 2. It's the second channel. So, it's after MCF After Dark 2. I'll try to, maybe drop the eyeballs here. You guys can go follow it over there and see what it looks like. And, make sure you subscribe to that channel, both the my MCF After Dark and MCF After Dark 2. So when we're going live, you have to put the notification bell on. You cannot rewatch them. It's kind of like our party streams here. You can't rewatch them. You can't rewind them. So you kind of just have to, get that bell notifying you when we're live, and you'll be able to catch everything, as it happens. Simple as that. So, let me put in the eyeballs in there so you guys know there is MCF After Dark 2, which is where we're going live from tonight. So that'll be that. It'll be a shorter stream, some music, and some chilling, if you know what I mean. On that note, baby, let them know why we do this thing here almost every single night on My Cowboys Family. And we've definitely done it basically every single night for 6.5, 7 years. Entering now our 8th year on the YouTube streets, baby. Why do we do this each and every night on My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, we always rep that star over everything. 8 years and beyond here. 8 seasons, right? In our 8th season here, in our 8th season of doing, cowboy football stuff here. And never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever on My Cowboys Family. As always, say it with us. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge in the chat literally all night long. All night. So thank you for that, and also dropping the love from above. The greats in the house, right? Like Skeptical Fan and Dwayne Broussard, Jet Li, Tony Wimbish. Thank you guys. And we'll see you on the After Dark channel in about an hour or so. Thank you guys again. Before we can clock out of here and drop out of here and relock and reload for training camp starting literally tomorrow. Baby, let them know before we can drop out of here. What do we got to do?
We got to drop the beat.
Hell yeah. That beat's been dropped. It's a wrap here at My Cowboys Family. We're on to the After Dark session for some chill, relaxing, fun times. Sometimes the Cowboys aren't giving us too much fun this offseason. That's for damn sure. Look at my wife's face. She's not very happy with you Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. I mean, come on. So anyways, guys, thank you all once again in the chat, dropping the love, dropping the knowledge. Appreciate everybody in the house. We'll see you on the After Dark channels. And as I always say, you can be anywhere. Thank you for being here with us for all the news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys for another MCF Cowboys chat, baby. You know it. Talked about all these things, the left tackle situation, and more. You know how we do, guys. All fully loaded and all caught up for not just the couple of days we were off, but also even tomorrow and Wednesday we got you all caught up. How about them Cowboys? And here in MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, that star always over everything. Never forget the number one thing here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to you guys repping it here, watching us live, watching the replays, hitting that like for the stream, subscribing to the channel, almost at 39,000, and we're just going to be at 40,000 and beyond. So thank you guys for subscribing, being family members, and of course, don't forget that, again, that notification bell here too. Turn it on to all videos so you know we're going live. You can also check us out on Discord when we go live, and other comments and news that goes on there. Twitter and X, we sometimes repost stuff, and definitely repost when we're going to go live and let you know there. So, hey, do it all that. Leave comments down below after this video is over if you watch us on the replay. And everybody, take care, stay safe. We'll see you here. Training camp is here, baby. 2024 is here. Let's go, Cowboys. Never forget the number one thing here at My Cowboys Family. Yeah, Cowboys!